All right, so I'm going to begin my layout of my content elements sans the actual content, basically just using boxes and type in Illustrator. After measuring the Adobe homepage, I'm going with this measurement. I'm actually just going to change this to 1914 by 956, keeping my numbers even, and clicking OK. And there we have the page. And the next thing I'm going to do is clean up my workspace, and I'm going to do reset essentials, and that is good. Okay. So having that in place, here's how I will begin. Taking a look over here at my color situation, I have white in a foreground chip or fill chip, and I'm changing that to gray. I'm going to be using simply gray boxes and black type to get everything in place. And then once you have all of this in place, I use this as a structure within which I will keep doing a save as and making changes as I need to. So this is, in a sense, giving you a little, you're creating your own armature. You're creating your own template to work within. So I'll click OK. And I'm going to click on the stroke and choose none, and then back here. So the first thing I want to decide about is the slide, the size of my slider. And so I'm going to click and drag out a box, and I'm going to say TLAR. That looks about right. Okay, that is there. Furthering down, I want to put in 3 column boxes, but I want them to be touching, and I don't know what size to make them off the top of my head. So this is one of my favorite tricks to show you. I do this similar trick in Photoshop. So Sunshine, you know this one now. Okay, so I'm going to make a box, and it's just a guess on the size of this box. I don't really care so much if this box is even the correct exact size, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it and hold the Option key and drag it over and make another one, almost touching. Now, in Illustrator, there is a command that will do the same thing that you did over again, so that I create a box, I have a certain amount of space between it and the previous box, and if I go to transform again, and the key command for that is Command D, I now have the 3 boxes with exactly the same space in between each of those 2. And then holding the Shift key, I'll select the other 2 boxes, move this to the edge where I want it, clicking on this corner and sliding this over. And now I have 3 perfectly sized boxes, the widths that I want them. Done. All done. Time to go home. Okay, so that's in place. Now I might decide, okay, I want them closer together. So if I do want them closer together, I'm going to count how many clicks I move these. I move that 4 clicks, so this is going to be 8. Okay, and then again I'll select, holding the Shift key down, and I will drag this over to the edge. Okay. Furthering this, I'm going to use the line tool to create a line here at the top and fill this with, or stroke this instead of with no color, I'm going to stroke this with black. And I'm going to thicken it up from 1 point to 2. And click and hold down my Option key and drag this down. Now I have 2, and then Command D, now I have 3. So there's the beginning of my menu and text tool. Now this is not going to be the font I'm going to end up using. I can guarantee you that. It's unlikely I will use whatever font this is, because I also want to show you tonight how to pick a web font and how to install it on a Mac. So I'm selecting my menu text, and I'm coming over to the character panel where I can see 12 points, and I'm going to just use the up arrow until I get this approximately the size that I think it should be, and that's the size I think it should be. That's kind of an odd size. I'm not really worried about that number being right or wrong. It's just 29. It's just what it is. So there's my menu. And then the next part of this is I likely need to decide here, where is my logo going to be? If my logo is going to be in the center, depending on the predominant shape of my logo, I will use a different shape here. So I'm going to say that my logo is some kind of a cool polygon, but not a hexagram. I'm going to now find here, this is Smart Guide. These green lines are Smart Guides here. So this appears to be trying to tell me something about center here. I don't really think that's accurate, but I'm going to click and I'm going to change the size to 5 and click OK. And this will be representative of my logo placement. It's a little small. I'll hold the Shift key while I resize this and poke it into spot there. And then again here I'm going to use this piece of text because it's only a placeholder anyway. I'm holding the Option key and Shift dragging this over, and I'm going to call this the bee's knees. Looks like I have the wrong character here. The bee's knees. And the other main item I think is really important on my website, besides the menu and my content of boxes for imagery and the logo, is my contact information. I want that over here as well. So again, I'm just using this placeholder text to drop down into here, and I will again put this in caps, contact. Okay. Other stuff I might want to have in here might be important information regarding the company, contact information that I want people to see right up front. So, phone, and maybe here we're going to have legal information. Unlikely I would want this to be same on the hierarchy as my menu and contact. So I'm going to select the elements here and bring down the type size. And that came down to 23, and I'll do the same on this piece. And here I'll bring that same size back to 23. Okay. So I don't know how long that took me, but not very long, right? So I'll save this up, File, Save. And that's my first step, is I will build out the boxes. You may want, you may need something that's taller than this. This is just going to be Web Layout 1. If indeed you decide after the fact that you've designed your home page that you do want it to be taller, the easiest way to expand the height of your page is to go to the Artboard tool and click and drag to increase the height. So maybe I'm going to bring it down to here now. Go back to the regular selection tool. I'm going to take the phone and the legal information and just drag them down here and create a line that goes across to designate that this is maybe another color here, or at least a separation. And again, I'm going to check and make sure that I have the line filled with a color. I will use black, and I will increase the thickness of that to 2 points. So for example, if I want to have this 3 boxes repeated again, I'll hold the Option key down and drag down. So now I have another bank of boxes there to fill in. Or transversely. Maybe I want to have a more interesting layout, so I'm going to delete this box. Select the first one and drag this over till the Smart Guide tells me I'm lined up underneath. You see that little green line? There, that vertical green line, that's my friend. And then I'm going to do something similar here where I'll remove this box and bring this one over. Again, it's a little harder because there's nothing really for this one to line up with. So I'm going to have to just kind of guess there. If I don't like it, I'll snurch it over. That looks pretty good. And one more. And bring this to the edge. Come on. I'm going to take it away from the edge and then bring it back again. Away. On. Yay! Okay, so now I have the armature. Any other changes that I might want to make here, such as perhaps I want to add a slider indicator. I'm going to click at the bottom where there's nothing and create a left indicator. And I'll increase the size of that. And I'll drop it up here. I'm going to option drag it over to the other side of my work. Select it with the text tool and type in the opposite side character. And right now everything is measured by eye but not by realism. Okay. Now we start talking a little bit about making sure that things are actually going to be measured correctly. And for sure, I need to make a little trim here. I'm going to bring the legal information and the phone up to this point. Go back to the artboard tool. Pull this up and return back to the move tool. So there's my handsome web page, ready for content. So far, so good? Now, one of the main things that I have learned that really will save you time is using spacer boxes. Although you have a ruler, if I go Command R, I can see the ruler here, and you can put down guides at specific points. I've been working with Illustrator since 1988, and it is really heavy lifting to keep on zooming in on this ruler tool. So one of my practices is, and I believe I showed you this before, but if I didn't, forgive me. You know that 72 pixels is an inch in this particular resolution of this particular page. So 35 is about a half an inch. So about 18, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 is about a quarter of an inch. So if I go 16 by 16, and then I look here, it should be a black box that's pretty darn small. And I place this at the edge of my page, zoom in, I'm going to zoom in, zooming, 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 and then I move this item up to the edge of that mark. Okay, I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it and press the space bar to get the hand tool and scoot all the way over to here and paste. And I'm using the arrow keys because I don't want to misshape it. I don't want to end up having to resize that or do it over at all. I can see it's not on the line. Now it is. And moving this over. So now I didn't have to go insane trying to figure out if I was on the ruler or not. And I know they're exactly spaced from the edges. So a good one. And then if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, well, that was helpful, but I don't like it anymore. Then if you're going to move things, count. So if I hold the shift key down and I move it to the right with one arrow, that's 10 pixels. I've moved it to the right because I used the shift key. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So keep track of your counts. You can also use, as I mentioned, the ruler guides. If I drop the ruler guide here at the end of the T in contact, I can see the relationship between my navigating arrow and the edge of my letter T in contact. And then again, I can use my little scrap element here and paste it. V for move. It's a little bigger, so I'm okay moving it with the mouse. When they're really small, I try not to because they'll end up getting really easily misshapen. Okay, so that's the beginning of how to lay out your content. This is really all you should have to do is put in the boxes. That's the first really main thing. Okay, figure out the size of the boxes. Figure out the distance of the elements. Do you like it? Don't you like it? What do you want to do? Okay, you might want to put some text in here. You looked at a lot of really interesting pages with great little horizontal scrolled sections, and you can take screenshots and measure from them. If you don't remember how to take a screenshot, it's Shift Command 4 to get the snapshot cursor, and you click and drag, or Shift Command 3 gets the entire window. So Shift Command 4 is my favorite because I can actually get parts of a page and see later on what I'm measuring. Okay, and the next part of this would be putting the content in the boxes once you're ready. So to put the content in this box, I'm going to select the box, and I'm going to go Edit, and I'm going to choose I'm going to get an image. So I'm going to go File, Place. I forgot the image part. I'm going to get an image. I'm going to place an image. Here comes my image. I'm going to just grab something that I already have out here. All right. Come on, baby. Okay. And I'm going to place it. So I can try to place it at the same proportions of this existing box, but it doesn't fit. It's not the right size. Okay, so that's fine. You're going to design based on something other than random boxes, but now I'm going to take this artwork that I have and I'm going to place it near where I want it to be. And I'm going to cut it, Command X. Then I'm going to select the box I want it to go into, and I'm going to do Edit, and I want to do Paste Inside, except for the fact that we don't have a paste inside in Illustrator. So if I do Paste in Place, it's just going to be where it was. However, I'm going to show you another trick. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to select this box, and I'm going to do Edit, Paste in Back. So it's behind there. Selecting the box that's on top, I'm going to go Edit. I'm going to go Object, Clipping Mask, Make. So the picture is underneath, and the box that I want it to go into is on top of it. And when I do Make, it puts it in that box. That was that was Object, Clipping Mask, Make. So now it's there. It's in the box. Right? This is in the recording, so you're in good hands. You'll go through and you'll drop in the layer. You'll drop in the items. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording there and go to the next part of the demo, which is the type part. Okay, is this helpful? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do stop recording.